how impressive was the ball that Simo hit 102 miles an hour up and in on the hands, and just what you see from him?
Yeah, very. I mean, he's usually got a great approach to begin with, but with 2 strikes, there were several at bats. Some went his way, some didn't, where he was just battling. And even the first at bat of the game, he doesn't get a hit out of it, but kind of started the whole process of trying to wear down their starter Holton a little bit, which it took us a long time to get to him last year. Same thing this year. I don't know about freshman year, but the guy's been impressive for 3 years. So we needed everything we could get. But yeah, when we got to the bullpen, pretty good for him to be able to handle that. Maybe facing Joyce, both Joyce brothers had him prepared.
What about just the variety of ways he helped you win the game today and just the all-around player he's been for you guys?
Yeah, I would say more leader. I think he's kind of transformed into the extra guy. I don't know what I almost said a funny phrase, but him and Burke were kind of the icing on the cake for that team their freshman year, and I don't think they were really relied on, and yet they were huge for us. Kind of icing on the cake type of deal. But last year they're thrust into a role like, we need you to do everything, and that's a lot at once for those 2 guys. And I think having gone through that and keep pushing forward and learning and making adjustments has made him better in just all areas of the game, which is what you're talking about, and it's been biggest for us in the leadership category.
You talked about the importance of not getting frustrated. Before Simo's home run, struck out with the bases loaded, kind of walked off very frustrated. What does it say about him? He comes back and then hits that.
Yeah, it's huge, but I think, it helps the environment in the dugout. You got a lot of people that give him room to breathe because he was just frustrated he got beat. He got beat by a good pitch, and he's not used to that, and he comes in, and everybody kind of let the fire kind of burn bright for a second, and then when you see smoke a little bit, people kind of were on him about ready for the next AB or help us out on defense, and just whatever the next thing is that you got to get done for the betterment of the team. And going back to freshman year, I don't know that he was that great at that, whether it be a call he didn't like from the umpire, an at-bat that didn't go well, or the day before didn't go well. And it's hard to do that when you're really competing, you're wanting to win, and it's baseball intensity, which is a tough version of that, and he's learned it, and he's still in the process of perfecting it.
Tony, you had some bullpen guys in pretty high leverage situations here to get this closed out. How nice was it to
it was just
from your bullpen?
It was just nice to get the win, but and everybody threw well. But as far as what my job is it's kind of, maybe I jinxed myself. We were kind of joking during the in-game interview with Berkey that see if it can affect the game. Really, once the game starts, it's on the players. But just a bad job, honestly. With the pitchers, just kind of how we were doing stuff, what our plan was. And yet we got good pitchers that pick you up, guys that make plays defensively. So would have liked to manage all that a lot better. But you got 3 really good pieces that come out of the bullpen. And Combsy, he can go out there and get 1 big out like he did last year. Or this year he can work his way up to 80 pitches. And then Snead's kind of been a Swiss Army knife for us in so many different ways. And then everybody kind of knows what Kirby is for us. I think the best thing out of the deal was we were able to win the game. And Snead will be available tomorrow. And Kirby also, for a guy who can throw a ton, has barely thrown much, this weekend at all.
Tony, are games like this where, it's kind of a high stress for 3 hours, things don't go exactly the way you want them to go. Are games like this ones that you appreciate after the fact, but like during the game, they're not the most enjoyable experience sometimes?
Yeah, during the game, it's ironic. Again, maybe I kind of jinx it or whatever. Baseball guys, you want to say some things out loud, not others. But we talked about yesterday, there's just going to be a lot of things that go up and down over the course of a game. Even if a guy were to throw a no-hitter or you win 10-0 or lose, whatever, there's always ups and downs with so many pitches being involved on offense and defense. And where I think this team has a strength, and again, I was kind of alluding this to you guys, the older guys that like watching, from the big league clubhouse or, still following the program, see that in these players that, you might see some ups and downs out of them or overreaction for a second, but they're pretty good at kind of wading through those waters a little bit. And that's very, very important for this game. And especially when you're judged on how a weekend goes, not just one game.
I was going to ask, for Combs and Snead, both kind of came in tough spots, really calm those waters. What about them was able to perform in that manner?
Good stuff helps. I mean, it's very different how they go about it, but both have great stuff. And Combs has so many different, things he can look back on, his experience, no matter what the situation is. I mean, a leverage game to get yourself to the next round last year in the postseason stands out, but he's prepared and he's confident and he's got good presence. And so I think that all kind of goes into it. And then Snead, has worked his butt off to become this guy that's got great stuff. So now, how are you going to use it? Well, the guys in the other dugout over there will get to you if you don't know how to operate the right way. And I've had fun just watching him evolve on how he prepares, how he handles himself in the dugout, and what his presence is like out there on the mound, because all that goes into it at this level. You might be able to smoke a guy with good velo in high school or get away with mistakes or guys chasing, but he's really evolved at his, the presence category.
You like the way Cannon built off that home run from last night?
Yeah, he looks comfortable in the box, and we don't need him to, conquer the world just because maybe he hits a lull in there in the season and now he's back involved heavily. Just need one good at-bat out of him. And, I don't know if this is the right time to say it or fair to say, but I answered John Wilkerson's question this way earlier. The DH spot is, one where we can be pretty, we can adjust pretty quickly. And there's a lot of guys that were ready to go, and find myself, as well as the other coaches, telling a variety of guys to be ready in case we want to send them up there, not just one guy. And we'll just go case by case, situation by situation. But Peebs is so good back there defensively, you got to kind of judge how you want to handle him and Chuck behind Cal as well. So we'll see how it goes going forward. But he looks much more like himself, which is refreshing.
How much do you enjoy it when you get to this time of year and your team's in the mix for SEC titles? Everything's kind of out there, and you're playing for a sweep here tomorrow, winning a lot of series in a row. How much fun is this time of year for that?
Yeah, I mean, for us, including with the pitchers that'll throw tomorrow, we're looking to go 1-0 tomorrow, and I'm on board with that plan as well. And then big scheme of things stuff, we, in particular, this group, kind of let that stuff take care of itself. For me, and I'm answering as sincerely as possible, you want this time of year to be, I know where this guy goes. I know what we're going to do in this situation. And, hey, do you guys want to practice today or make it, what do you guys want to work on today, or how do you want to handle this situation? And we're kind of getting to that point where, Frank's going to call pitches, Josh's going to run the offense, but the keys to the car are ready to be handed off to these guys. I don't know what car it is. Maybe it's a nice one. Simo's right there. I don't know if I'll give him the keys or not. But Combsy can have the keys, and so can the other guys.
Thanks, Coach.